Who's interviewing him? Do you know who's interviewing him?
MSNBC
Oh, okay, yeah,
or
they're
NBC, one of the two.
okay, yeah, they're. That's the reason I didn't really ever know much about him, but you know, when you go to watch news, all these mainstream news things pop up first, you know, and that's what you end up watching. And like my generation especially, and just from all the shit they said about him, I didn't like him, and like I said, and then I started throwing away the garbage after saying, listen to what he had to say, man, and you know, he wasn't like I thought. You know, I just was going by, what they were saying about him.
I'm Dell from the band Pullback.
I'm Jake the Snake. I was drummer for Detroit punk rocker Tommy Trash 5 years.
And he's a Polak.
I'm Brown.
President-elect Donald Trump, welcome back to Meet the Press.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for
you know
being...
what news station that is? That Meet the Press? Is that MSNBC or NBC?
It's a show on one of them. I don't know which one it
Here.
is.
You are the first president since Grover Cleveland to win non-consecutive terms. Republicans now have control of the House and the Senate.
Right.
What do you plan to accomplish in your first 100 days in office?
Well, we're going to do something with the border, and very strong, very powerful. That'll be our first signal, and the first signal to America that we're not playing games. We have people coming in by the millions, as you know, and a lot of people shouldn't be here. Most of them shouldn't be here, but we have jails being emptied into.
Well, that's the thing. They're automatically breaking the law when they come here illegally.
Yeah.
And that's breaking the law, man. And they shouldn't be allowed to just outright break the law. Then a lot of them come over here and break more laws. You know?
Yeah, Sean Ryan went to the border. He actually went into Mexico, and they got these big tent cities that people have been living in for years trying to get in legally.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, you got people coming in. It's like, no, let's speed up the process for the people that want to do it the right way and kick the people that break the law out.
Yeah, because I mean, I believe, I'm not against immigration and all, but the thing is, you got to do it legally. There's a system, and you got to go through that system. They got to be vetted. Look at all the fucking criminals that are here right now. Then they keep denying all these crimes that are going on, the rapes and murders and robberies and break-ins, and it's just getting way out of hand. And something's got to be done, man. All the terrorists in our country and shit. And then that's not true. Bullshit, it ain't true, man.
Country. We have mental institutions from all over the world being emptied into our country. So we'll be doing that. We're going to be extending within that period, or as soon as we can, the Trump tax cuts, because, they're coming due and they're very substantial for people. And it would be I think it will anger a lot of people, frankly, if we don't get an extension of that. That's what led us to one of the greatest economies ever. And those two things are going to be very vital, very important. We're going to be focusing on crime in the cities, and we'll work with Democrat governors. Most of them are, as you know, if you look at the 25 worst places, they're just about all Democrat-controlled cities.
Los Angeles, New York, Chicago, Portland.
Yeah, all of them.
What's that other one on the West Coast that's not in California? This is Portland, Oregon, and then Seattle.
Oh yeah, Seattle's bad. Yeah.
San Francisco, all of those.
Yeah, they're all terrible, man.
Yeah, well, that's why everyone's moving to Tennessee, Texas, and Florida.
Yeah.
And then
they're moving to mid-Texas too. I mean, they're not moving northern. Maybe they're not moving like along the border area.
Well, they're all moving to Austin because that's like,
yeah.
They say Austin's not in Texas; it's surrounded by Texas.
Right.
More people in Austin voted for Kamala Harris than people in
LA.
LA.
Shit.
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know that.
States, and we're going to be working with Democrats.
That's what every girl I fucked in Austin said she was a lesbian. Because they just have to be part of the LGBTQ.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like
I said before, it's a trendy thing to do for them,
Yeah, there's like, I'm not straight.
Yeah.
It's like, well, then why did you hit me up? Yeah. Oh, I just want some dick once in a while. It's like, this makes no sense. It's just like everybody out there, like Rogan and all these people that moved out there, they're big, rich, and famous, so they can be around the people they want to be around. But if you're just an average person, you go there and you're just surrounded by fucking idiots, all these college kids and shit.
Well, and that's their thing. Like I said, everybody wants to do it. And it's like the cool thing to be a faggot. It's a cool thing to chop your cock off. It's a cool thing to whack your tits off. Oh, look at me! I don't have any titties. I'm a man. Bull fucking shit. These people are mentally ill, man.
And they tell me I'm gonna regret my ears in a couple of years.
Yeah.
Those people are gonna be fucked.
Oh yeah.
Governors and Democrat mayors, and I look forward to doing it. But we have to do something about crime, and mostly in our cities. And we're going to have a lot of other things. We'll be working on nominations. We're going to still be working on some nominations. I think they're going very well. We have, for the most part, I think they're going extremely well. It looks like Peter's doing well now. I mean, people were a little bit concerned. He's a young guy with a tremendous track record, actually. He went to Princeton and went to Harvard. He was a good student at both, but he loves the military, and I think people are starting to see it. So we'll be working on his nomination along with a lot of others.
We are going to delve into your nominations, but since you bring him up, do you still have confidence in Pete Hegseth?
Yes, I do. I really do. He's a very smart guy. I've known him through Fox, but I've known him for a long time. And he's basically a military guy. I mean, every time I talk to him, all he wants to talk about is the military. He's a military guy. I used to kid him about it. I didn't think would be in this position where he may be, hopefully will be Secretary of Defense. But every time I was with him, he was fighting for soldiers, where he said some soldier was unjustly put in prison because they were really doing what they were taught to do, in some cases. So, yeah, I think he's going to do fine.
The fact that there are these allegations against him, misconduct, sexual misconduct, heavy drinking, the fact that he said to some senators reportedly he'll stop.
Well, them soldiers, man, they see the most horrific fucking thing, just like cops. They see the awful, bad, terrible side of life, that we couldn't even imagine, like cops and like soldiers and shit they see.
Like being misgendered.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't get worse than that.
No. Misgendering somebody, I mean, that's so traumatic.
Yeah, like I hate people that say they got PTSD because they got their friends blown apart overseas, or got tortured in a fucking prison camp.
That's nothing like
got their legs blown off by a landmine.
Yeah,
but meanwhile, there's fucking people getting misgendered, or a girl's getting paid less because she worked less hours or something. Or
yeah. I know, that's awful, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, those poor misgendered people.
If he gets this job, does that worry you?
No, I think that everybody has something that they can stop. Some people can stop eating. I'm lucky I'm not a drinker, but I could stop eating. And we all want to stop doing something. And if he said that, I mean, it's a nice thing to say. That's a good thing to say. But he's very respected. I can tell you, I know a lot of the people at Fox, they think he's fantastic. And the people that work with him, really, they love him. So I think you're going to have somebody that's really terrific. And again, all he talked about with me, I said, you're not really a television guy, even though he did very well, as you know. You're really a military guy. He said, I'm all about the military. And I told him, so he's making a lot of money at Fox. They're doing very well. And I said, if for some reason you don't get this thing, you're not going to be able to go back. And all that money you're making, you can kiss it goodbye. He said, this is all about America. He didn't say, well, let me think about it. Let me discuss it. That's a very big, risky thing he's doing. When he goes and he says, I'm going to give up, millions of dollars in order to possibly.
I didn't believe how much these hosts on these news shows make, man.
Yeah, what was Tucker making, like $20 million a year or something?
Yeah, they make millions and millions of dollars. That's why these people on that MSNBC and CNN, they're fucking worried that they're going to get fired and shit, because there's this one lesbian bitch named Rachel Maddow. She makes millions, and they renewed her contract, and she's like getting millions less than what she was supposed to get.
Well, I think all of the mainstream news programs cut the salaries for everybody because they're not.
Oh, they're not getting any views. They're not getting any views. I mean, and MSNBC,
the money they make is based on how many people watch and how many people their advertisers are getting to.
Yeah, their views, like I said, they had MSNBC at prime time or something. They had like average of 2.6 million or 2.5 or 2.3 million viewers. They went from that down to like 300 something thousand viewers. You know, I mean, that's a lot, man. That's damn near a million and a half, 2 million viewers that they don't have anymore. You know, so why keep them?
Become the Secretary of Defense. A lot of people would say it's a great position. It's probably almost no greater position, but a lot of people would say, I have to think about it. He said, I don't have to think about it.
All right, we're going to delve into
sure.
your cabinet picks a little bit later, but I want to delve into one of your signature promises on the campaign trail, which was to end inflation, to lower prices. You are now proposing tariffs against the United States' three biggest trading partners. Economists of all stripes say that ultimately consumers pay the price of tariffs.
I don't believe
Can
it.
you guarantee American families won't pay more?
I can't guarantee anything. I can't guarantee tomorrow, but I can say that.
Well, the thing is
like you see what's going on. Gotcha.
yeah,
You know,
that's exactly what this whole interview is about. But the thing is, he like did you hear him talk about that factory China was building in Mexico?
yeah.
Yeah, and he threatened it. He's like, oh, I'll just tariff the cars 200%. They quit building the factory.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it's like all he has to do is threaten it. But he can't just go on TV and say, oh, I'm not going to do it. I'm just threatening them. Because then they're going to see that and be like, fuck you then, you know?
If you look at just pre-COVID, we had the greatest economy in the history of our country. And I had a lot of tariffs on a lot of different countries, but in particular China, we took in hundreds.
Yeah, I didn't like him at all because of what I've seen on the news about him. And then, like I said, I start listening to what he had to say and seeing what look up on what he's actually done. And actually, like I said, I'm getting by right now every month. It's costing me almost an extra $150 a month, and I'm on fixed income, man. You know, and cost me like $150 or anywhere between $135 and $150 more a month than it did like 3.5 years ago. You know, and that's a big difference, man. You know, everything costs so much more, and it keeps going up and up and up and up, man. And people are tired of this shit, man. Let's see where these Comorians have got to say.
Billions of dollars, and we had no inflation. In fact, when I handed it over, they didn't have inflation for a year and a half. They went almost 2 years, just based on what I had created. And then they created inflation with energy and with spending too much. So I think I'm a big believer in tariffs. I think tariffs are the most beautiful word. I think they're beautiful. It's going to make us rich. We're subsidizing Canada to the tune of over $100 billion a year.
Wow.
We're subsidizing Mexico for almost $300 billion. We shouldn't be subsidizing. Why are we subsidizing these countries? If we're going to subsidize them, let them become a state. We're subsidizing Mexico, and we're subsidizing Canada, and we're subsidizing many countries all over the world. And all I want to do is I want to have a level, fast, but fair playing field.
Sir, your previous tariffs during your first administration cost Americans some $80 billion. And now you have major companies from Walmart, Black & Decker, AutoZone saying that any tariffs are going to force them to drive up prices for their consumers. How do you make sure that these CEOs, that these companies don't, in fact?
Look how condescending the look on her face. And
she looks like she's fucking on something. You
Yeah,
know, her eyes are about to
bug out of her head. Must be on the same drugs that Biden was on at that State of the Union address. His eyes were just like this big, and he didn't blink and shit. He was on some super speed, man.
Pass on the cost of tariffs to their consumers.
They cost Americans nothing. They made a great economy for us. They also solve another problem. If we were going to have problems having to do with wars and having to do with other things, tariffs, I have stopped wars with tariffs by saying, you guys want to fight, it's great, but both of you are going to pay tariffs to the United States at 100%. And they have many purposes, tariffs, if properly used. I don't say you use them like a madman. I say properly used. But it didn't cost this country anything.
That's what he's saying. He's basically threatening tariffs.
Yeah.
You know, and not only that, but like the whole deal with Japan and stuff. Like, hey, you're charging us all these tariffs, and we're not charging you any. That's, you know, we're going to charge you whatever you charge us.
Yeah.
And then they lower their tariffs on us, and then, you know, we have some tariffs on them,
Yeah,
and it
balances out.
Yeah.
This country money, and we never really got the chance to go all out because we had to fight COVID in the last part, and we did it very successfully. And when I handed it over to Biden, the stock market was higher than what it was just previous to COVID coming in. It was actually higher. Tariffs are properly used, are a very powerful tool, not only economically, but also for getting other things outside of economics.
Well, again, prices did go up on some goods in your first administration, washing machines, tires. Will you punish CEOs?
Let me just explain to you. No. You mentioned washing machines. So you look at Whirlpool in Ohio. I got a call from Jim Jordan, one of the greats, congressman from Ohio. And he said, they're going out of business because South Korea and China are dumping washing machines into our country. And I put a 50% tariff on the washing machines coming in from China and South Korea. And Whirlpool and the companies that made washing machines, which are based in Ohio, largely based in Ohio, went through the roof. We saved thousands of jobs, tens of thousands of jobs. They were all going out of business because they were dumping washing machines. And when I put the tariffs on, they became successful businesses. No, it didn't. Not only didn't it cost people, it made our country stronger and more powerful, and it kept jobs.
But how do you make sure that consumers don't wind up paying more? Will you punish CEOs who try to pass the cost of tariffs on to their customers?
Well, the market's going to take care of it. I mean, actually, the market takes care of it. And if it doesn't, we adjust it somewhat. But in the case of Whirlpool, or let's say companies that made washing machines, they were all being put out of business by the dumping from, in particular, South Korea and China. And when I put the tariffs on, very substantial tariffs, although peanuts compared to what people do to
I
us.
should have tariffed the 4B movement.
Yeah. Put a stop to that. Keep it in South Korea.
Keep your washing machines and the 4B shit.
Countries do to us. It became a very, very powerful, successful company. Now, let's say I didn't do the tariff.
I'll fix you, Donald Trump. I'll cut all my fucking hair off.
Yeah.
Make yourself uglier, you dumb bitch.
It would have gone out of business. You would have lost tens of
It's
thousands.
actually better that way because they're advertising their mental illness, so you know who to stay away from.
Well, like I said, and those are the kind of people that voted for Kamala.
Yeah.
All these dumb bitches that are cutting their hair off and all this.
Jobs, and you don't include that in your equation. No, they make a lot of money. I'll go a step further. Tariffs are going to make our country rich. Tariffs are going to help us pay off $35 trillion in debt. Tariffs are going to make our country safe because China, as an example, doesn't want to play games with us if we're going to do tariffs on them. They don't want to play games. And we have a lot of games being played on us right now.
Well, I think, and that takes me to my next question.
Yeah.
Are you actually going to impose these tariffs, or are they a negotiating tactic?
Well, I'll give you an example with
See that?
Canada,
Give him that fucking
and in particular Mexico. We have millions of people pouring into our country. You agree with that? I spoke with both. I spoke with the justice.
You gotta have that smirk on it. I got you. You know.
Yeah.
You know you didn't.
Yeah, how you gonna answer this one, huh?
Yeah,
You know,
yeah. Jesus, man.
Trudeau. In fact, he flew to Mar-a-Lago.
I think she thought she was just gonna come in and just make him look really bad. You know, and it's having the opposite effect.
Yeah.